Today on StockCharts in Focus, we're diving into scooters. That's our very unique StockCharts Technical Ranking system. It's the exact same technical criteria applied to a whole bunch of stocks or funds or indexes within a universe. Makes it incredibly easy, incredibly quick to pinpoint the leaders and the laggards by filtering everything simply by a single number from 0 to 100. Makes it very, very easy to organize those stocks, finds the ones that you want to stay in. So we're going to do a deep dive into scooters today all around the site, show you all the different ways to use this important resource on StockCharts. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's StockCharts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, StockCharts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel, where we dig into the site, dive into the features, show you around the tools, and help you get more value out of StockCharts. Today's episode, of course, is going to be a great one to do it as we dive into a very unique StockCharts exclusive kind of feature, that being scooters. We're going to have a lot of fun on today's show. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. So good to be with you. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. This is, as our longtime viewers will tell you, a great way to just get more value out of StockCharts every week. That's what we do. We just sit down, have some fun, reviewing different corners of the website, all that good stuff. If you're coming back to the show, welcome back. Good to have you back. Now, before we dive into the scooter discussion, a little bit of housekeeping. We are shuffling a few things around with the StockCharts TV schedule. Some things are changing. So the air time, the original start time for this show is actually going to be changing. It's going to be bumping up a little bit. So we do this show every Friday. Used to be 5 p.m. Eastern time, but we're actually now moving that to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be a little bit earlier in the day. It means that I have to get my recording done a little bit earlier. So fun stuff there. But of course, we also have our YouTube channel where you can watch all of the videos, all the StockCharts videos, StockCharts and Focus videos, in addition to everything else on StockCharts TV. You can also browse through the content there. It's a great way to kind of go back and rewatch previous episodes. But we will, of course, have this show posted to YouTube after it airs live at 3 p.m. for the first time. And then we also have the on-demand platform, StockChartsTV.com. So there's lots of different ways to watch if you are new to the channel, but we are bumping the time of this show around just a little bit. So 3 p.m. Eastern time on the StockCharts TV live player at StockCharts.com/TV. That is going to be the first place this show airs, as always, and the time is changing just a little bit. So look forward to you tuning in for future episodes at that new time. Now, with that little bit of housekeeping out of the way, let's dive into scooters, one of my personal favorite topics because it is unique to us. The SC in SCTR stands for StockCharts. This is our StockCharts Technical Ranking system. But we're going to show you all the different ways to use scooters, a whole bunch of them around the site, different important resources around the site there with scooters. But before we do that, I want to give you a little bit of background. If you're new to StockCharts, if you're new to scooters, if this is not something you are aware of, let's talk about it. So what we did with scooters many, many years ago, we partnered up with John Murphy and a couple other key technicians that we were working with at the time, and we developed a technical ranking system, really kind of predominantly based on John Murphy's approach, but sprinkling in some other methodologies as well. The idea behind the system is very simple. You know, we all look at hundreds and hundreds of charts every day, so many of us out there as chartists in the market. And so we said, well, you know, half the time we're looking at these charts and it's just instantly clear from a technical standpoint that this is something that we can ignore. This is a really, really weak chart. And then there's other ones that stand out as really, really strong charts. So we sat down and we said, well, what if we could create a ranking system that would basically just tell you, you know, within reason, within some kind of bounds, what the strong charts are and what the weak charts are, what the middle charts are too, what the kind of neutral level charts are. So we came up with the scooter methodology. Now the thing that I always like to say to people is that it is the exact same technical criteria applied to all the stocks in a universe. We actually break the market up into specific universes because we don't want stocks to have different scooter scores when they're compared to different groups of stocks. So the way that scooters are organized is by market cap. We have a large cap group, a mid cap group, and a small cap group. We also have US ETFs. We have Dow Jones industry groups. We have India. We have Canada. We've got lots and lots of different groups as well. But if we're looking at the US specifically, we break it down, for instance, into large, mid, and small caps. Every stock can only fit into one of those buckets. They can move around a little bit. As a small cap becomes a mid cap, becomes a large cap, it will shuffle around. But the key is that all of the stocks in the large cap group are being compared only to the stocks in the large cap group. Now, when I say that the same technical criteria is applied to all of those, I mean that the same technical criteria is applied to all of those. It's not sort of picking and choosing and applying different things. It is the exact same criteria for that whole list. We apply that criteria, we've got the formula, we apply that to all the stocks in the group, and then it spits out a number from 0 to 100 that is unique to every stock in that group. The strength of that, the beauty of that, is that you know everything up in those 90s, up in those high numbers, is going to be incredibly strong from a technical standpoint. Everything down in the the zeros and the 10s and the 20s is going to be incredibly weak from a technical standpoint. And it's not just pure technicals. It's not, hey, is this chart going up? It's basically a relative strength technical approach because, again, you're comparing all of the stocks in a group. So when we're thinking about large caps, for instance, again, the strength of the scooters is that because it's that same technical criteria applied to all of the stocks in the large cap group, you can go to the scooter reports, you can say, show me everything that's above 90. I only want to see the things that are above 90 because those are going to be the top 10% strongest stocks in that large cap group on a relative technical basis. So an incredibly powerful, incredibly useful little tool. And a lot of people say, is the scooter used to make a buy or sell decision? Should I be buying or selling when something crosses above or below a specific level? The other thing I always like to remind people is that this is just another indicator. It's another data point, and it is what I like to call a reason to look. When I see something crossing above 70, crossing above 80, crossing above 90, that is improving strength as measured by the scooters. And so that's a great reason to go and look at that stock or look at that ETF. When I see something that's really falling down the scooter ranks, it's just continuing to get weaker and weaker relative to its peers in that large or mid or small cap group, whatever the group is. That's a reason to kind of stay away from that stock or maybe ignore it. If I'm running my scans and I see something has a 50 or a 40 or a 30 on the scooter value, it's an opportunity to say, hey, I'm not even going to look at that stock because I got plenty of other ones to look at when I run my scans. So I'm going to go focus on the ones that are above 50 or above 60, 70, 80, 90, the ones that are at the top of the scooter list. So it can be an incredibly powerful filter as you're going to see on today's show. Hopefully that's a little bit of background. One thing you might be asking yourself right now is, hey, can I learn more about the scooters? Can I see the methodology? Can I get some details on exactly how this is calculated? And the answer is yes. So to kick us off on today's show, let's jump over to the site. I want to show you how you can actually learn a little bit more about the scooters, and then we'll dive into the tools, dive into the features, show you around the site, and show you how you can use scooters in your approach around stock charts. Here we go. All right, everyone, so here we are on StockCharts, and what we are actually going to do is jump up to the top right corner of this page and look for the help link. Now, anywhere that you are on the site, you're always going to have the help link up in that top right corner. If you are at the very bottom of any page, you also have a link to our support center down here as well in the help section. So a couple of different ways to get there. But in our support center, we have tons and tons of documentation on pretty much every feature around the entire site. One of those, of course, being scooters. So when you come to this page, you can actually sort of browse through, and you could scroll down and find the scooters link in this page, but you can also just type in SCTR and hit enter. That's going to take you over to the search results. And of course, you've got lots and lots of search hits here for scooters. The one I want to direct your attention to is the StockCharts Technical Rank article. This has some high-level information about kind of what scooters are, how they're calculated, how to use them, where you can access them around the site. And we even, at the bottom, have a previous episode of Stock Charts in Focus that we did quite a while ago. So you can learn a lot more about scooters here. And if you keep poking around the documentation in some different places, we have lots and lots of info about scooters, the calculations, the use cases, all of that good stuff. So if you are wanting to learn a little bit more, this is our first stop on today's tour. definitely visit that support center, search for Scooter, and you can find some great articles on StockCharts technical ranking system. One other thing I will say, if you actually go to stockcharts.com/welcome, if I can type correctly, at the bottom of this page, this is kind of our getting started series to help new users get set up with StockCharts. And at the bottom, we actually have a bonus article all about scooters. So if you give this a click, again, just go to stockcharts.com/welcome. All those other articles are also a great resource, but if you scroll through, you can actually find a very, very nice little article here, again, summarizing scooters, telling you a little bit more about kind of what they are and how you can use them. And we have that previous episode of StockCharts in Focus that we did from quite a while ago. So we're going to actually kind of redo some of that episode today to show you around different corners of the site. But that is our first stop, showing you how to learn a little bit more about scooters. Now, I kind of cheated a little bit. And actually, if you're looking at the top of the page, I've got 3 tabs open because these are basically the 3 corners of the site that we're going to focus on for kind of where and how to use scooters. So I want to show you how to get there. First off, we're going to go to our charts and tools page. The first stop on our tour today is going to be the scooter reports themselves. We've set this up as a standalone page, a standalone feature. And you can get here from a couple of different places, but the easiest one is the charts and tools page. So when you come up, click on that charts and tools link in the top left corner. And if you scroll down, you've actually got a link over here on the right to scooter reports. There it is in the summary pages section. Right there, you've got a link to it. But down here below, we also have a link to our scooter reports in kind of a larger format with the card. So that is going to be our first stop on today's tour. The first place we go is going to be the full scooter report. So I'm just going to close this tab. This is that page. So I mentioned these groups. I know I talked a lot about kind of the setup for scooters, how they work, all those different things. The first important thing that you're going to want to do is pick your universe up here on the scooter reports. What this page is going to do is list out all of the scooters within any universe that you are in. So you can come up to this menu. It's going to default to large cap stocks. But as you can see, we have a whole bunch of these different universes. Here are those 3 that we were talking about, the sort of primary groups that people typically look at: large, mid, and small cap stocks, US stocks there. We've also got US ETFs, though, which is a really interesting group. And again, you can apply this same concept to the ETFs that you're watching, which is a really powerful thing to do. We've also got Dow Jones US industry groups. We've got Toronto stocks, London stocks, India stocks, lots of these different groups. For today, we're going to focus on the large caps group, but you can pick any universe from this menu right up at the top. Now, what this page is going to do from here is just show you all of the stocks in that group ordered from strongest to weakest. So again, the benefit of scooters is that it very quickly tells you if something is effectively worth looking at. If you're playing the long side and you want to stay in the strongest stocks, the things that are going to be worth looking at are going to be above 70, 80, 90. They're going to be those high numbers. So it makes it really easy to find those because the high numbers are going to be at the top. You can flip that concept, and if you're playing the short side, the weakest stocks out there in the market, or the weakest ETFs, whatever you're looking at, those are going to be the lowest numbers. So you can actually resort this column, the scooter column here, from low to high instead of high to low. So kind of in either direction, you can make the scooters work for you. If you're playing the short side, you can focus on the low numbers. If you're playing the long side, you can focus on those high numbers. But what this page does is just show you everything in that entire universe organized by scooter. Now you can sort this in other ways and kind of breeze through it, but by default, it's going to be sorted by scooter. So this is an incredibly great first stop to come and start to play around with scooters. What this is going to tell you is the scooter score right there, again, from 0 to 100. It's also going to tell you the change over whatever period you're looking at. So you can actually change the period. If you want to see how far the scooter has moved over the last 5 days, for instance, you can change that period and it will tell you that. From here, what you're going to want to do, let's say you're playing the long side and you want to find the strongest stocks out there in the large cap space, for instance, you can click on any of these names to open a chart of that tool or a chart of that symbol, or you can access any of our other tools over here with the links on the left. So if you want to open the symbol summary page, if you want to open a sharp chart, an ACP chart, you've got lots of options in here. So we might want to breeze through this and say, okay, well the top might be a little bit extended, but let's find something that's around that 95 level. That's going to be a strong stock. Here's one that's actually at 95 exactly. That's going to be Bristol Myers Squibb. Now, you can hover over the symbol to actually get a quick mini chart of this. So another great way to use this page, just kind of hover over those symbols. You can get a quick view of what those different stocks are doing. But if you want to open up the full featured chart, all you got to do is click the name. So there you go. You can very easily find strong stocks that are, as you can see from this top panel, outperforming the market. In this case, BMY actually holding up relatively well, considering the state of the market today. So this is the strength of the scooter. In kind of just a couple of clicks, we found a stock that's actually working pretty well and holding up pretty nicely in a very ugly market. The scooters are intended to make it very easy to do that. Now, if we flip this table, if we come back up, we sort it from low to high. Let's look at something like Carvana with a 0 score. This is a stock that's gone from 376 down to 23 at the moment. This is an incredibly weak stock. So this is going to get a very low scooter score. Again, the lowest in the large cap group at the moment, being a 0.0. Now, you might actually be asking yourself at this point, hey, Carvana is only $2.5 billion market cap. That's actually not really a large cap. What's the deal there? We rebalance this quarterly. So I mentioned that every stock can only fit into one group at a time. They do get rebalanced quarterly. So we go through, we organize everything by market cap, and we say, okay, everything above 10 billion is going to go into the large cap group. Anything that's already there is going to stay there. Anything that is now above that market cap level is going to get moved in there, and so on and so forth. We do the same thing with the mid cap group from 2 to 10, and we do the same thing with the small cap group under 2. So the next time that we go through the rebalancing program, Carvana in this case might actually get moved down to the mid caps because it's fallen so far. Pretty crazy sign of what's been happening out there in the markets. But this gives you a sense of kind of our first stop on today's tour. Again, the Scooter Reports page itself, just a really helpful place to come here and sort of breeze through those different scooter numbers. It can be a really fun exercise on the weekend. For instance, this is something that I do as part of my process. I'll come to this page for large and mid and small cap stocks and just kind of breeze through and see what's up at the top of those lists, see what's moving. It's also fun to compare from week to week to say, okay, this was nowhere near the top, but now in the last week, it's a stock that's really strengthened. I'm seeing this moving above the 80 or the 90 levels up into some of those top ranks. So lots that you can do with this Scooter Reports page. But that is our first stop on today's show. Now, the next thing you can actually do with scooters is add them to your dashboard. So I didn't have this one highlighted in our little tabs up at the top, but it's kind of an extension of the Scooter Reports page itself. So we'll jump back over to the members dashboard, and we're going to change one of our panels to be Scooter Reports. So these panels that you have on your dashboard, by default, you might just have one in the top right, but if you want to turn on another row, all you have to do is come up here to additional data panels, make sure that is checked, and then you will get another row of these data panels across the screen. These are totally configurable, totally customizable. I've set mine up in a specific way, but one of the options that you do have in here is Scooter Reports. So we're going to change this ticker cloud panel down at the bottom to be Scooter Reports. And now we can actually see some highlights from that Scooter Reports page, that full page we were just looking at, right here on the dashboard. Again, we can choose our universe. We've got large cap, mid cap, small cap, US ETFs, US industry groups, Toronto, London, and India. You can choose any group that you want. And in this case, you're going to get a quick highlight. We've got top 10, the highest scooter scores. We've got low 10, the lowest scooter scores. There's Carvana, for instance. And then we've got the sort of scooters on the move. So we've got those that have gained the most and those that have lost the most. So this is a nice little feature to add to your dashboard. Gives you kind of a highlight of what's going on in the scooter space, especially that top up and top down and the top 10 and the low 10 and everything. You can kind of get a sense of what's moving around the scooter ranks. And for each of these, you can hover over the symbol and click. So if we wanted to see CVE, now we get a chart of CVE. Again, a very strong stock that's actually holding up pretty well in the current market, and that is a top scooter score. So that is really the strength of the scooters. Makes it very quick and easy to find strong or weak stocks the leaders and the laggards. So adding that panel to your dashboard is kind of our next stop on the tour today. Now from there, you can start to go nuts. You can actually incorporate scooters into a whole bunch of other features around the site. Up until this point, we've kind of looked at scooters on their own. Again, that standalone reports page or scooters here on the dashboard. So two other key places that you can use scooters are with your chart lists and with your scans. We're going to take a look at scans in a sec, but since we're here on the dashboard, let's click our chart list button, jump down to a chart list. We're going to pull up one of our chart lists in summary view. And here in summary view, just like we had with that scooter reports page, there is a scooter column that you can turn on your summary view. This is something that I have turned on for all of my chart lists. To do so, if it's not already turned on for you, hit that columns button there. Make sure that scooter is highlighted in gray and has a little check mark by it. Once you do that, you're going to get this scooter column and a universe column. So this will actually tell you which universe your stock is in or your ETF is in, and then it'll tell you that scooter score right there as well. So if you've got a whole watch list of stocks or things that you are interested in or your portfolio, all you can do is just add that scooter column to your summary view, make sure that you have it on, and then sort by scooter, just like we did with that standalone scooter page. You can use the summary view to filter your chart list. So in this case, this is a watch list that I have, some stocks that I'm kind of following, things that I've been noticing over the last couple of weeks, kind of a running list for me. I could sort this by scooter and say, wow, H&R Block a 98. We've got Star Bulk a 97. These are some strong scooter scores. Let's see what H&R Block looks like. There you go. It's another strong stock that's actually holding up pretty well given what's happening in the market. So this, again, as you can see, is the strength of scooters, but you have that feature available to you on the summary view as well. You can do exactly what we did before. You can sort this from low to high instead. So here's Airbnb. Let's look at that chart. That is a weak chart that's really losing some key levels, continuing to fall to the downside. So it makes sense that that one is a 9.5. That'll probably get kicked off my watch list here very, very soon, even though it is up 7.75% today. So anyways, scooters on the summary view, another crucial place that you can use these and incorporate them into your process. Really, really helpful for watch lists, really, really helpful for your portfolio as well. It's a great way to kind of keep an eye on changing strength or weakness in the things that you actually own, the stocks and funds that you own. So lots of ways that you can use that on the summary view. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at scans. So scans are another crucial place where you can incorporate scooters into your process. Now, any scan that you have in your account, you can run that scan and do exactly like we were doing before, sorting that table that comes back by scooters. So for the sake of our demonstration today, we're going to select a scan that's guaranteed to return some results. In this case, we're looking at the S&P 1500, and we're just scanning for all of the members. I'm going to hit Run Scan, and there we go. We now have a list of all 1,500 stocks, as you can see, in the S&P 1500. That's the 500, 400, and 600. So we can do the exact same thing that we've just done on the summary view and on the scooter reports page. We can sort our scan results by scooter. This is an incredibly powerful way to filter your scan results, especially in stronger times. For instance, if you're looking for strong stocks, you're playing the long side. If the market is holding up really well, as it has done in the last couple of years, when we run our scans, we might get tons and tons of results back. The scooter provides a powerful, very easy way to actually filter through those scan results, because you can focus on only the high scooters, only the scooters above 95 or 90 or 85, whatever your sort of level is, key level that you want to stay above. So again, just like we did before, this is a data table that you can sort. So we get our scan results back and we can sort this by scooter. Now, one interesting thing that we can do here is actually sort this twice by scooter and universe. That's kind of a unique function in the summary view for ChartList and also in our scan results page here that we are looking at currently. So we sorted this by scooter. We can also sort it by universe. What that's going to do is keep all of the large caps together and all of the small caps together and all of the mid caps together. All the universes are going to get sort of stuck together. So if we actually sort of do this backwards, we can sort it by scooter from top to bottom and then hit universe. And now, as you can see, we've got everything that doesn't have a scooter up at the top. But as we scroll down this page, we've got all of the large caps starting at the strongest number going all the way down. This is going to be a long list because it is the 1,500 stocks in the S&P 1500. But sorting twice, as you can see, these are all of the large caps. So instead of getting a mix of mids and smalls and larges, we can actually keep them together if you're interested in doing that. If that doesn't matter to you, you can actually just go back up to the top and sort by scooter and just get kind of the strongest numbers back regardless of which universe they are in. Kind of depends on the scan that you're running and your approach. But the same concept applies here. You can take those results, sort them by scooter, and then find either the strongest ones or the weakest ones, or those that are maybe hovering around a key level that you like to watch. So if you follow, for instance, Greg Schnell, he's done a lot of work on scooters. He'll tell you that he likes to watch for stocks that are breaking above the 75 level. You could actually scan for that as well. You can incorporate scooter scores into your scans. We'll save that for a future episode. But Greg will tell you he likes to watch for scooters that are crossing above 75. He finds that when they cross above 75 and continue to move higher, they really start to fly from there. So in this case, you might want to take a level like that, whether it's 70, 75, 80, 85. I know I've been talking about some of those different sort of key levels. You might want to say, okay, I don't want to focus on the stocks that are all the way up at the top because they might be a little bit extended. I'm going to focus on stocks that are around that 85 level or whatever the number is for you. So sorting by the scooter here in the summary view or in the scan results, wherever you're looking at this table full of stocks, sorting by scooter can be an incredibly helpful way to kind of organize those stocks and make sure that you're not having to click through everything in the list. You can just focus on the strongest ones, focus on the weakest ones, whatever you are looking for. So it makes it very, very quick and easy to do something like that. Now, the final place that we are going to look at scooters is going to be actually the most important one. That is the charts themselves. So in this case, we're going to close out our tabs here and we're going to get over to the SharpCharts Workbench. Now I've pulled up a specific stock, a random one that is a relatively high scooter score within the large cap group. Just wanted to highlight that you can actually chart your scooters. There is history to these scooter scores. Again, we talked about this a little bit when we looked at changing values over time. So, how far has a scooter run over the last week? We looked at that on the scooter reports page. You can change that period menu to show you kind of how far a scooter has changed over a specific number of days or weeks or months or anything like that. We have history. That's the point to that. So you can actually chart scooter values over time on your charts as an indicator. Very, very easy to add to your charts. In this case, we're looking at a chart that already has the scooter set up at the very top there. But to add this to your chart, all you have to do is come down here and add the scooter line to your chart. So very, very easy to do this. Just add that scooter line as an indicator, position it wherever you want, above or below, wherever you want to put that indicator. Hit update, and you will automatically get that scooter line on your charts. Now, I've done a couple of tricky things on this chart to actually add some key levels for me. Again, you can see the green line, you can see the gray line, which is right at 50. That's kind of the neutral point, and you can see that red line down there as well. I've added some horizontal lines to this indicator, and I've also added a moving average to this scooter line. So you can do quite a lot with this. But the point is you can actually chart these values over time, chart that scooter, make it one of the key indicators that you watch. Again, it is a measure of relative strength. So you can use this to measure relative strength within a universe. You want to stay on top of the stocks that are really staying above some of those key levels. In this case, for instance, we saw that Vertex was actually incredibly weak, had a very low scooter score for a long time, but when it sort of made that breakout a few months ago, really kind of end of 2021, when it made that breakout, the scooter score started to rocket higher, got above that kind of 75 level, 75 or 80 level that I like to watch, and actually has been staying there for quite some time. We can see that even that moving average, that 50-day moving average on the scooter line that we've been able to add down below, started to get above that key level and has been staying steady up there now, really in the 80s and the 90s for quite some time. So that is a sign of continued relative strength against its peers. You can combine this with relative strength against the total market. If you've got a relative strength line against, the S&P 500 or whatever your benchmark is, you can really kind of incorporate scooters into your process, and it can be another fantastic data point on your charts to tell you, what's strong, what's weak, and what's moving over time. So lots of different ways that you can incorporate this into your process. Now, if we were to jump over to ACP, you could see that we do a lot of similar stuff over there. We've also got the scooters incorporated in ACP in a couple of creative ways. If you are an ACP user, over on the sidebar on the right side of the screen, we actually have a whole scooters section that allows you to bring in the scooter reports. You can use the drawer at the bottom of ACP, add that scooter column to your chart list, do the exact same thing, sort by scooter ranks. You can run scans in ACP, save those to a chart list, and then rank them by scooter. And of course, you can also add the scooter line as an indicator to your ACP charts. So regardless of which world you're using, SharpCharts or ACP, the scooters can really work for you. You can incorporate this into your process there on StockCharts. So that is our show for today. I know we covered a ton. We ran around some different corners of the site, looked at scooters in a whole bunch of different ways. This is really an indicator that makes some sense when you kind of hear about it, but you really have to start to use it to see the value of it. So many people have followed Greg Schnell's work. He's been a huge scooter proponent. Dave Keller, a big scooter proponent as well. Myself, a big scooter user. So many people have followed our work for a long time and said, I really didn't sort of understand the value of the scooter and how helpful it could be until I started using it in my scans as a filter for strong stocks, in my chart list as a filter for strong stocks or weak stocks if you're playing the short side. People add it to their charts as an indicator. They actually get to use that as another indicator on their charts, and it becomes a really powerful part of your process. There's so much wrapped up in the scooter score itself. It does bring in multiple time frames. It brings in multiple indicators, and just measuring that technical strength, consistently across an entire group makes it a very, very powerful filter. So a great way to kind of streamline your process, focus on the scooters that are up there above a certain level, makes it quick and easy to sort of stay focused on a more manageable group of stocks. Instead of saying, okay, I got back 1,000 results from my scan, now I have to look at 1,000 charts. Instead of doing that, you can say, okay, I got back 1,000 results from my scan, but I'm really only going to focus on the 100 that are above 80 or whatever the number is. So enjoy playing around with scooters. Add them to your charts. Go look at those reports. Run some scans and have fun playing around with scooters. Again, if you want to learn more about scooters as well, check out the help documentation. StockCharts.com/welcome also has that help article at the bottom. But you can search for scooter on the site. We've got tons and tons of documentation. Follow some of the work as well by Greg Schnell that he does. He talks about scooters quite a bit. Follow Dave Keller's work. He likes to review the scooter reports as a way to find the strongest stocks out there in the market. So he constantly talks about them as well. And of course, we will talk about scooters much more on this show, I'm sure, again in the future. At some point, we'll do one of those episodes scanning for scooters specifically. We'll have to save that for another day. But there are tons and tons of exciting ways to use this very cool StockCharts exclusive feature. So I hope you've had a great time with me on today's show. This was a fun one. It's always fun when we get to tour through different corners of the website. Want to remind everyone the show time is moving just a little bit. 3 p.m. Eastern time is going to be our live air time now on StockCharts TV. But of course, we will also have the YouTube channel. We'll put this show up on YouTube after it airs, and also the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. So lots of different ways to watch. But tune in every Friday. We've always got a new episode. We will actually be off next week, but we are gearing up for a major product launch coming early next month. And we're going to highlight all that good stuff that's coming to the site on this show, of course. We got new features, new tools, new improvements, enhancements, lots of exciting stuff coming with our next product release in early July. So we're going to be off next week, but we will be back after that. And the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some exciting stuff to share with you. So definitely tune in. I want to thank you, though, for joining me. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. It's been great to have you. I will see you again very soon for another episode of Stock Charts in Focus. But until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.